afternoon, good evening, and look behind me. It's Vancouver, Washington. Can you believe it? We're actually here. Not the real Vancouver, not the pretty Vancouver, but the original Vancouver. Today, I have told you that we were going to have a fabulous guest, as we've had in the last few weeks, because it is Comedy Month in honor of Will Durst. We have invited some of my favorite comedians who I've either worked with or worship, and this is one of them, the worship pile, Miss Wendy Liebman. Wendy, welcome to the Antisocial Hour show. How are you?
Thank you so much. I love Will Durst.
He's recovering from his stroke this weekend. As we're recording, he is going to be doing his first headlining appearance since his days when he had the stroke 5 years ago.
I read that. And right before that, he and I worked together at a little club in San Francisco. Where are you exactly? Are you really
I'm really in Vancouver, Washington.
Vancouver, Washington? I
Yes.
didn't know there was a Vancouver, Washington, just like I didn't know there was a Kansas City, Missouri.
Right?
And I was once supposed to fly out of Kansas City. I was in Kansas City, Kansas, and it said Missouri. And I was like, I think they booked me to fly from the wrong airport.
I'm supposed to be in a different state. I don't even speak Missouri.
Uh, this was before cell phones, so I was freaking
Oh
out.
no, oh no, oh no. I have a friend who's a nurse and she's a neonatal nurse and she had to go from one Kansas City hospital to another and they didn't tell her it was the other state. And so she's looking all over like where am I supposed
Just
13th Street, where am I
had a
supposed to be? You know who knows what that baby
That's so
turned into?
funny. My niece just had a baby. My niece just had a baby and was in it was really early, and it had to be with some neonatal nurses for like a month and a half. And
Oh,
she's great now. Like, it's miraculous what they can do
it
now. She was born at 2.5 pounds,
oh my God. When you and I
and
were
now
kids
she's
and
a
we'd see
regular kid.
you and I were kids and premiers were born. We're like, oh, that's so sad. Now it's like the premiers are born and they're already in fifth grade, like before they're
Right.
even out of the neonatal. It's just crazy.
Where did
Uh,
you grow up?
Boston, massive two shits. Um, Boston born, Boston bred, thick in the arm, thick in the head. And you, my darling?
Well, I'm from New York,
Yes,
Long
but
Island,
I was gonna say you're from Long
uh,
Island,
a
not
town called Roslyn, 110 Crescent Lane. But I went to school in Boston, and then I just stayed there and started comedy in Boston. So a lot of people think I'm from Boston, and I
everybody
was there
thought you
for
were
a
from
long
Boston.
time.
Were you? Which school
I
did you go
know.
to? Were you an Emerson
I went
person?
to well,
Oh,
I
you were
went to
Wellesley.
Wellesley, which is an
Yeah.
all women's
My
college,
sister
and
also went to Wellesley.
I studied psychology. She did. What year?
She was in dramaturgy, and I believe she was 90 something.
Oh,
Yeah, after us. I'm the oldest broad in the family,
oh,
so
okay. She was
yeah,
after me.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was
Um,
after me. What part of Boston exactly were you from?
Speaking of Roslyn Dale, coincidence?
Really?
Yes, Roslyn Dale,
So
right
my
on.
roommate, my
Yeah.
roommate in Boston was from Brockton,
Oh my God,
and
South Shore.
you know, right? But I love Boston.
I
I just
miss the
have a soft spot.
history, and I miss the bagels. And on the West Coast doesn't have the same kind of stuff. I mean, I've lived in California. It's the UPS delivery song. Everybody sing along. Now, the there's so much things I miss about the East Coast, but then I remember my family lives there, so it's okay. It worked out.
Right, exactly. I had to decide, should I move to LA or back to New York? And I thought, oh, I'll move to LA. My parents are still in New York.
So when you started, sorry, the
So
kids are sick.
so when you get a package delivered, do you have something
Well,
called
the
Amazonnesia
crazy thing
like I do?
is I'm looking at the box. It's a giant crate of toilet paper. All right, girls, are you done? Girl, hey, hey, my phone. Hey, cálmate,
They're
cat.
very excited about the toilet paper.
Well, it used to be our UPS guy would bring them treats, so they get very excited. And so, and I usually record the show in my office, but we have a sick dog who's got massive tumors and things. So I've been kind of keeping close to wherever she is.
Oh.
And today she's in the living room, so that's where we decided to hang out. And today she decided she was going to be singing opera for us, and that was the aria du
What's
jour.
her name?
That's Trixie, Bellatrix Violet, another Wellesley name. She's
Trixie.
Trixie's my
Let's
sweet
all
old,
put a
yeah,
good
good juju for
vibe for
Trixie.
Trixie.
Yeah. And then Tribble is the baby. And Trixie was my service dog, uh, gets retired at 10 years old. They usually do. And then they become pets. And luckily for us, her tumors didn't start hitting until she was at 8 or 9. So she's retiring at the right time, and we get to spend time just giving her loves. Meanwhile, the new one,
I
you know,
Is that a service dog too? Is the
yes,
new one a service dog? See, I've
yes.
never had a service dog, but I do have an emotional support tuba
It makes a
that I
difference. A chuba? Is that a Shibu Chihuahua?
tuba, tuba,
I've it's so
tuba.
cute. A tuba.
No, a tuba. It was a joke.
I was wait, what kind of dog would that be? That would be a Chihuahua and
I
a
have an
Cuban.
emotional support box of Cheez-Its.
I have an emotional support of Hershey's. Hershey's kisses everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. The Hershey's kiss and the Hershey's dogs. So, okay, now I've got distracted by dogs. That's fine. I'm sorry. I
No, I
apologize.
want to tell you about my dogs.
Do
My
do
dogs.
please.
They're behind me, but that's just a picture of them. They're never that docile. They're called Jindos.
What
They
is
were
that?
rescued from a meat they're rescued from a meat market in Korea. They were gonna be eaten. And we got that. We didn't go to Korea, but
Oh,
they were sent over here to LA. And when they were 1, and now they're 6.
aw.
And they are as trainable as a carrot.
And they probably taste
They
like one
are,
too.
oh, I don't know. They're not food, they're not motivated by food or love. Well, the
Aw.
white one is she's a damaged baby. She was probably kept locked up. So anyway, I feel they are so high maintenance. And then I gave them cat food, Kathy, by accident,
Oh no,
and
so now that's all they
they
want.
loved it.
Oh yeah, it's all fat.
They
Of course they
loved
want
it,
that.
and
Yeah.
now they're ignoring me like cats do.
They've become cats. I had a chihuahua that was so addicted to cat food that when I tried to give him anything else, Monty, my first service dog, he looked at me and went, I didn't think so.
It's not the same. The food is not the same.
No, it's high fat content and lots of really good stuff that they shouldn't eat. And he's really they love it. It's like dog crack. It really is.
So people aren't allowed to ask you why you have a service dog. Is that true? Like
They've
anybody can have a service dog.
anybody can have there's no law yet. They're working on a law in the United States, but there's no law state by state. In California, it's so easy. All you have to do is go to the california.gov website. I'm hinting this, not that everybody should do this, but even you can do this. Go there, sign your dog up for free under the Service Dog Registry of California, and your dog is a service dog. That's all it takes in California.
Wow.
Yeah. Which
So these dogs are hunter. That's amazing. These dogs are hunters. And so they are actually I was joking that you can't train them, but the LA police trained them to hunt, like people or drugs. But then once they let them out into the field, they just ran away. Not my dogs,
yeah.
but the Jindos.
Oh yeah, because now they know how to take care of it. Okay,
So
thanks for the lesson. We're off to hunt. Yeah. See you in a year. Oh man.
exactly.
We could take care of ourselves. Thanks for the pets, nice. We only speak Korean. I say y'all. So
Well, I had a dog sitter once. We don't even hardly ever go away anymore because they get so freaked out, even if we have a house sitter come in.
Oh,
So we had
sure.
a house sitter, and when we came home, he had left Korean TV on for them. And I'm like, no, they want to get
Sure.
away from
If
that.
you're not good, we're going to eat you. We're going to send you
Right?
back.
Oh my God.
And some of those K dramas
So
are
it's so good
so
to
good.
see you after all these years. I knew you years ago, right?
We kept running into each other over and over again. And there was a threat at one point at the Improv that I was going to be working, opening for you for a week, and it all fell through. And I was so excited. I was like, "Yeah, I get to work with Wendy Liebman. I'm so excited!" And it just went. Blah, blah, blah. I got a
In
divorce.
LA?
And
Was it
at the
LA?
Improv
What's
Vegas. I believe that's where it was. No, maybe it was LA. I was going to get sent to one of the other, but I was working with
no,
Penn and
no, because
Teller.
they didn't do. Oh,
And so I was
okay.
in Vegas for years and years. And my ex is their music director. I'm playing piano. That's what that is. I'm massaging
Oh,
my computer.
a
So
lot of people are moving to, a lot of people move to Vegas.
yeah,
A lot of comedians are moving to Vegas.
Steve Pearl's there, Brad Garrett's there. There's so many folks that are just like camped there, opening their own
I think
clubs.
Alonzo Bowden moved
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
and
Oh, I
there's
have a great story. I have a great Vegas story. This is my favorite story
okay.
in show business. So, when I first moved to LA, it was like the early 90s, and my agency booked me to open for a lot of bands because they also represented bands.
Sure.
So, I got to open for like Julio Iglesias and Anne Margaret and Ray Charles. I feel like a different person. Like I feel like I'm making that shit up.
That's so
But I
cool.
know it was mind blowing. And I wasn't ready yet, to be honest, but it was such an opportunity. And so this was at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. And I was just so nervous and by myself. I didn't have anybody with me. And I had this huge dressing room. So I befriended the waiter because he was the waiter for backstage. So I
Nice.
got to know him a little bit. He was a little bit older. And one day, 15 years later, I was in LA. I live here now. I was thinking about him out of the blue. And then, and I'm not making any of this up, Kathy. This is 100% true. Like
Okay.
the next day,
Uh,
I was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. And who walks into my dressing room but the waiter? And the waiter is in Jimmy Kimmel's band
oh my gosh.
because his son Cleto is the band leader.
Oh my God. That was cool. Oh,
Isn't
that's
that
so cool.
cool?
That is cool. It's like they stalked you so much they waited for you to get on that one show to tell you that story. That's pretty awesome. That's so cool.
So
That's so cool. I love stories
I
like
I
that.
was I was glad I tipped him well.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I remember that one. Yeah, I tell people that you cannot be an asshole because if you're an asshole, you don't get to meet the cool people. You get to, you don't want to shit on anybody because what
Well,
happens
it's
is
all
over.
cumulative. Like it's
Yeah.
all cumulative.
Oh,
I worked on one show with Howie Mandel years and years ago. I was a
back when he still
writer,
had hair.
and and one of the like PAs is now a big director. So you just never know.
Exactly. Exactly. I used to teach people how to do monologues for auditions back a billion years ago. And I would tell them, be nice to the secretary, be nice to the janitor. The janitor's somebody's dad, somebody who's probably going to be your boss someday. And sure enough, and three of those people came out. This guy works for CAA now. You'll never guess who he was. Who? The janitor's son. I'm like, yeah,
Oh
told you.
my
It
God.
always works
That's
out that way. You got
crazy.
to be nice to people. I had to leave LA because I was just so burnt out in the not being cool to people thing. Um, what made you start doing stand up? I mean, you have anybody who's ever seen any of your recordings or any of your specials or any of your, presentations on the many, many shows you've been on, the way you talk on stage is unlike anybody else's. And Kevin Nealon tried to steal it, and I got pissed at him. But it's very much like how my family in real life talks, where everything's an aside. Like, here's the sentence, aside, bam, second aside, just right in the gut. And I love that so, so much because it's so you. If I explain, a joke to anybody, oh, is that a Wendy Liebman? Yeah, did you know the way you said it? It's like, you
Thank
are so
you.
unique and so wonderful. I can't even imagine you as a little kid, like in school, because you would have made the teachers insane. Like,
I was like the teacher's pet. I didn't talk back. I was very studious. I wanted to get good grades.
well, you went to Wellesley, so yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that voice didn't emerge until later. Like, I was always pretty comical. Like I remember getting a job once because I made the interviewers laugh.
Isn't that
And
fun?
I know, and they told me that was why. So, um, it's a loving thing when you make somebody laugh because what it communicates is that you want that person to be entertained, joyous, happier. So it's yeah, and it shows that you have to speak their language.
Yeah, and as a psychologist by nature, if you went to school for psychology, that must have been,
Yeah.
even more so. I look at acting and stand up as a really great form of psychology.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to learn about other people if you don't really learn about other people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I started doing stand up. I was going to be a psychologist and I got the mail from the wrong apartment building. You might have heard this story before. No, I took the mail in from the apartment downstairs, and in it was a course catalog for the Cambridge Adult Ed Center.
Right. Oh, the fantasy. Oh,
And
sure.
in it was a class on how to be a stand-up comedian. And honestly, I like heard angels and buzzers, and it was just like, yes.
Come to us. Come to us. We need you.
It took me a really long time to get comfortable on stage, to get
Were you
to
very shy?
I think I am shy, and even more than that, I'm really nervous. I remember being on an airplane in my 20s before I did stand up, and I saw the flight attendant behind the curtain. I could see her, and she was talking into the microphone, the intercom, and she was giving um, a speech.
Mhm.
And I was nervous for her. Like I have social anxiety,
Sure.
not anymore. And now I feel like I could do anything. I've done stand-up comedy, stand-up
Exactly. Lay it
comedy.
on me.
So right.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy thing to do, right?
Right. Well, I mean, even people come up to me now and they're like, I can't speak in public. I can't speak in public. And I can't speak in private. I'm one of those, like, I cannot.
That's a great line.
It's so true, though.
I love that.
You want you're one on one with somebody, that means their face has to see your face like way closer than when you're up there.
I love that. Well, that's why, like, can't act. I can't act. Let's be honest. I acted when I was younger. I
Mhm.
was always like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz and Eliza and My Fair Lady. But then,
Typecast again.
but now it's like, no, I'm not good at talking like somebody else's words to
Yeah. Well,
other.
you're true to who you are so much that that's just ingrained in your whole personality and everything you are.
I wish I could act. I
But
would love to be an actress.
it's that's the matter of somebody working around you, not you working around them. You need to have that one person that writes specific. I think that Roseanne would never have been an actor if they didn't write specifically for her and her routine and her whatever she's doing now. I don't know, but
I'll buy that.
yeah,
I'll buy that.
and I can see that I mean, even Howie Mandel, he's doing the what's the little boy character that he did? Bobby,
Howie's World, Bobby's
Bobby's
World.
World. Yeah, my foster sister was a an animator on the game, and so she'd play me these tapes, and he would just be in the studio and he'd talk his little baby talk, and So for my birthday, for my 25th birthday, I was at the Comedy Store every night because I was working there. But he actually came out for my birthday. Guy who doesn't like to talk to people because of germs came out in his glorious head of hair that I was absolutely in love with. And he's like, "Oh, birthday?" And he started doing the whole Bobby routine for my birthday, sitting in the front row.
Wow.
And it was just, and everybody's looking at me like, "Who
Oh my God. Well, he's also a great serious actor,
yeah."
which
Well,
is,
St. Elsewhere. I mean,
yep,
when he got cast in that, all I kept thinking is that if they didn't write Bobby's world around him, would he have been able to do other stuff? But
interesting.
but
He's,
then
yeah,
he also has a different type of background than you or I, where he knew going in that that was a stepping stone to something. Did when I usually ask people when they were kids, like, what was the big thing that you thought you wanted to do, and then what ended up happening to twist that? Because I love beginning stories. I love how do you meet stories and how do people begin stories. Um, you just stated that you went to school and you kind of discovered that ad is who do you remember who it was that was teaching it?
oh, yeah. His name is Ron Lynch, and he's
Mhm.
still a friend. And
Nice.
he lives in LA now, and he runs a show out here. And he's been on the Sarah Silverman show. He does voices for Bob's Burgers. Like he's bona fide.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
And
Yeah.
oh, so you know of him.
Yeah.
And
Oh
he,
yeah. Well, I mean, I when I started, it was Steve Sweeney, Tony V, Dennis Leary is the one who got me on stage. His days.
wow.
Yeah. So
Well, my second paid gig was opening for Dennis Leary in Northampton, Massachusetts at 141 Elm Street in front of 8 people. And it was a 2.5 hour drive in the pouring rain. And he killed.
of course,
And
just doing his dad's smoking routine, just.
yeah, I was always more nervous finding the gig than I was actually performing. And, kids today, they don't know how good they have it with the
With the tickety
GPS.
talks and the YouTubes and
I mean, I remember driving to a gig
Mhm.
in New Hampshire and I was by myself and freaking the fuck out. Can
Well,
I
all you see is
swear?
big dark trees.
Right. And
Yeah.
I was like, I think I missed my exit and I
Oh
didn't
no.
have a map. And
Yeah, there was
so,
before GPS.
so I pull over and I realize this is a true story. Again, another 100% true. I realize that on the bottom of my shoes is a map of New Hampshire. Like they were made in New Hampshire and there was a map and I literally looked at my shoe and I go, "Oh, I didn't pass it. I didn't pass my exit." I have tried to find those fucking shoes.
If you end up in Mount Washington, you've gone too far. That's hilarious. Oh, at the Hampton Beach. I did a couple shows at the Hampton Casino up there, whatever it calls the Hampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that gig. Arlo Guthrie was
I'm
performing the night before I did, and then Three Dog
who?
Night was Arlo Guthrie was the night before I did a show, and then after I did a show was Three Dog Night, and I just felt like the strange comedy sandwich that was in between two like monster legends of the '70s. It was just
So I performed at a little club there, not at Hampton, not at the casino,
uh,
but I did see Tracy Chapman open for Suzanne Vega.
I might have been
It
at that same show.
really.
Yeah,
And then you brought up Three Dog Night. Well, my
yeah.
husband is like best friends with Danny Hutton, who started that band.
Oh,
And I've gotten involved with his wife's charity. She runs the art program uh, at Children's Hospital. But what I wanted to say was Danny is still performing like 150 dates a year.
it's mind
He's
blowing.
he's 82
It's mind blowing.
and they sound phenomenal.
Love
And
it.
he now performs with two of his son or both of his sons. They're in his band.
It's so cool. I used to I love that music so much.
Jeremiah was a
Well, I
bullfrog.
had every album, so I knew all the other stuff too. It's like I was one of those weirdos. It's like, it's so cool to share a New England background with somebody. Now, did you do like summer camp stuff for two, or were you like just discovered New England on your own by escaping New York?
I went to summer camp in Maine and I
Yeah.
went to summer camp in upstate New York. And the upstate New York summer camp was called Try Woody. And my parents actually sent me to a summer camp called Try Woody for 3 summers.
Please
And I
tell me it
didn't,
was an all-girls camp.
it wasn't,
Oh
and
my God.
I didn't try Woody, but I did try to smoke Queen Anne's lace, which we thought would get us stoned. And I remember I got caught and I had to write to my parents and I said, P.S. I also smoke cigarettes and I really liked them. So I loved Camp Triwoody. The summer camp in Maine was called Fernwood, and that was all girls, and it's still there.
Aw.
And I have like I don't know my bunkmates anymore. I'm
Mhm.
friends with one on Facebook, but I see some of them in the news.
Oh,
Like they're really accomplished
that's
lawyers.
kind
And
of
I
cool.
know. I
Everybody, I
know.
was at Cap Quinnipiac for 9 years.
Where is that?
Cap, it was in Senahava, New Hampshire, the place where the Invisible Man himself is buried. Um, it was so cool. It was the coolest place, and all these people are still in touch with each other because it was like
Wow.
your summer family. That was it. It was like
That's
I
awesome.
I can always tell people who've gone to summer camp because there's something like we escaped from our parents during the summer. We're in school during the winter, and then we kind of have
Right.
microcosms of seeing the family in between.
No, you make really uh it's significant like how much you grow at summer camp. My husband
Seriously.
always hated summer camp. He thought it was like military school.
I was gonna say, did he have to go to a boys' school too, or what? No.
No, no, no. He grew up in LA
Ah, summer
and
camp is
he
always
doesn't like the East Coast because it's too cold, but we know how to navigate the cold, right, Kathy?
yeah. That's why I got, I fattened up in my 50s and 60s. So,
I have to fatten up because I have osteoporosis, so I have to like cushion the fall. So,
muscles bounce. So, I am a flotation device in case of a water landing. Um,
oh my God, you're so funny.
you kill me. You always crack me up. When one of the times I got to meet you, a friend of mine who may also be a friend of yours, Stephen Wright, uh, had actually waved at me. It said, "She's funny. Go over there," because he didn't feel like talking to anybody.
Oh
I'm
my,
like, okay. I'm like, I'm dumb. Sure, I'll go. It's Wendy
I
Liebman. She's
love
like,
him.
isn't he the sweetest? Sweet
So
man.
Ron Lynch introduced me to him because Ron and he are friends.
Mhm.
And I was doing the Tonight Show, and I just happened to be with Ron and Stephen Wright. And um, I asked him, for advice.
Mhm.
And he said, just perform for the audience that's right in front of you.
Exactly.
Like, don't think about the bazillion people at home,
Yeah.
right?
We're all watching.
But I have to tell you, and I'm writing a children's book, and in it, there's a cat named Stephen Wright. And it's it's a cat called a Savannah cat, which is a very rare
They're
breed.
beautiful. Yeah.
And they look like Dalmatians.
Yes.
And I met one in an airport once, which is how I thought to put it into the book.
And they
And
have this walk that's way different from most cats.
yes, and they can jump really high.
And some of them like water.
Right. And I know they're bizarre. They're bizarre savannas, and they're expensive because there are so few of them.
Yeah.
So in it, the girl in my children's book, the girl's mother found a little kitten under her car, and it had a big tag that said Stephen Wright and no other information. And it's a girl cat.
Aww. And is this your first children's book? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yay. But
Yeah.
you've written other stuff.
No, I'm writing the children's book and a novel right now.
Oh, I want to
And
hear about the novel because
um the
you went to Wellesley. Of course, you have a book in you. Come on. It's like,
well, I wrote another book years and years ago that you can get on my website for free. Um, it was Facebook posts before Facebook. Like
okay,
I wrote it before Facebook. So it's like little nuggets of jokes and philosophies. It's called Swear on Lily, and you have to read it to understand what the title means.
okay,
But so I wrote that book. I tried to get Starbucks to publish it because it'd be the perfect book to, because they were publishing books for a little while.
right, yeah, a little bit.
So it would be a perfect book to read when you're sitting having coffee. But anyway, the books now, I only thought to write the children's book because uh, a friend of mine is an illustrator. And so we just decided we wanted to do something together. And I think that's what I've learned getting older is it's really fun to work with people that you like and create stuff with people that you like
Yeah,
and
what a nice change.
make money with your friends.
Yeah.
And so we're writing this book. It's called As Izzy, and it's about a little girl named Isabel. And
Aw, I love that name.
yeah, and so she has a cat named Stephen Wright.
I just love that. I'm already like I have. Well, you can't see it because I have everything locked up. But my the one who does the animation for this show, and it has got three kids books out, and I have a whole pile of kids books. Never had a child in my life, but
Oh,
definitely have.
so you've written children's books.
I read children's books. I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
written
Well,
them.
I've read a lot since I started this project because I felt like I should know what I was doing. So I read like Beverly Cleary, the Ramona books, and the Junie B books. And
What's her name? Kate McKinnon's book is excellent, by the
oh, I
way.
don't know that book.
Oh, she has one about a magic school, but it's weird magic and weird things happen, and it's really
Oh,
cute. It's not Harry Potter, that's for sure.
right.
But yeah, it's a twisted. It's kind of like Twisted Barbie wrote a book. There it is. So it was
That's so
perfect. It's
funny.
perfect. Um, so okay, you're leaving Boston. You're moving to LA. How did you get the Tonight Show? Because I know a lot of people don't know this story. How did you do that the first time?
So I was in a comedy competition in Boston, sponsored by Johnny Walker. And Bud Friedman started the improv,
Yes.
and his wife were there, Alex. And it was Alex who like shoved Bud and said, she's funny. So I won the competition in Boston, which meant that I had to come to LA to compete. And I didn't win the whole competition,
Mhm.
but while I was performing, some guy who booked the Tonight Show named Jim McCauley saw me and said, why haven't you been on our show before? And I've been doing stand up like 6 years.
Yeah.
And
Which is in a career of comedy that's kind of still in the junior phases, but yeah.
right. It's different a little bit now because there's so many outlets and people post their stuff online all the
Yeah.
time. But so he said, well, come back to LA next week. I still had a day job. And I remember flying. Oh, so then I flew back
Mhm.
to LA the next week. And I remember flying home to Boston because I still have my day job. And I thought, I can die now. I've been on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And I'm so glad I didn't die because I realized life is bigger than that. And what I've realized is life is it's all cumulative. Like
And who was on the show the night where you were there?
it was Jack Palance and
I actually
a,
looked this up again to see it.
oh, you did? And an older woman singer, um, Thelma Houston, maybe.
Was it?
I know I should remember that kind of thing, but I was just obsessed with being there. And I brought Ron Lynch and another friend, Amir Golan, and I was just, it was all a holograph. Like it was all surreal.
It was like a wedding day, right? I mean, I can't even imagine. I
Yeah.
I remember sitting at the Comedy Connection when Steve Wright got the Tonight Show, and everybody in Boston was like glued to the TV.
I mean,
He's up.
when I first saw him, I was in college and I had a little black and white TV. And I remember watching him and I thought to myself, my mind was blown. Like he just invented another way of thinking.
Yeah, and then later on, I mean, I think about there's so many different people that do things that are just like, how could they figure that out? That was amazing. Like, Mitch Hedberg was like that. I mean, he basically did twists on dad jokes that have already been written 100 years ago, but the way he wrote them and rewrote them,
Right.
they were so smart. The way you say things, so smart. Um, and then there's this mob group of like, oh, I'm going to be an angry white boy. I'm going to be, like, why do you have to be the stereotype of anybody? Be the stereotype of yourself. Be that person. Because look how much it happens when you become the absolute blown up version of yourself. So much better to watch. Jackie Cation is one of my favorite comics of
Oh,
all
I
time.
love her.
Isn't she wonderful? She was on a few weeks back. But she also has one of the. I told her that you and she have the most. I hate even saying there's no. You can't say the most unique because there's no degree of unique. But but just
We're different.
yeah, and you stand out so much, and you're not necessarily dirty comics. When you did the Aristocrats, there, I think we've talked about this before. Um, I think my husband at the time was I got a brand new starter husband. Um, he uh, he had shot the video of you, or at least was there, and he was telling me that
Oh, yeah.
everybody didn't know what was going to come out of your mouth because you were just saying the sweet, lovely story. And
I know. I think Penn was freaking out because I was talking about baseball and apple pie, and then
little cheese that
I twisted it. I twisted it.
it
So,
was
who was your
beautiful.
ex-husband?
Mike
Who?
Jonesy, the piano player.
Jonesy.
Yeah. So if I say
Yes.
Jonesy,
So
yes. Penn's
he came
other
to my
wife.
house.
Yeah. There's a whole. I had to escape all that crazy. There's just too much drama. It's the Penn and Teller
You're
life.
so funny. Do you do stand up? Do you still
Me,
do stand up?
I 44 years. Me and Kathy Liebman, 44 years. Yeah, this will be, I'm going to be starting again here in Portland pretty soon. Portland's just over the bridge. So I got to talk to a few people and make a few calls. But yeah, I figure I'll be back on stage. I usually start my own rooms when I move. So, because I love bringing in new comics and I
Why
love
not?
helping.
That's what I tell people.
Yeah, I bring
That's
in
what I tell
people.
people. I go, find a place to work, perform
Mhm.
as much as humanly possible. And if you can't find a place, start a place because
You gotta.
you need stage time.
And I also love helping people learn how to write. Like when they're writing, when you see people on stage and that they're this close to getting the laugh, they're close, but they just don't know what that one twist is. It's like, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll keep my mouth shut. Wait a couple weeks, see if they figure it out. Okay, come here. Could you just say,
Well, so you're a teacher at heart.
yeah? I think that's just
You're a
it's the Italian
teacher.
in me. I either feed you or tell you what to do with your life. So just what I do. Um, You have done so much stuff. I can't even list all the things you've done. It's just one of the things I've
Oh,
noticed. Yeah, go ahead and
let's
list.
not talk about the past.
Yeah, it's
No,
okay.
no, let's not talk about the past. I've been on a lot of shows,
You've done a lot of stuff.
but I
And
feel like,
you
then I
still
met
look
my
like you're in
husband.
your
You
40s.
you
So I
said
don't know.
you Oh, God bless you. It's the filter on Zoom. So you said you like origins or meet how to meet
Mhm.
somebody's stories.
Yes. How did you meet your
So
husband?
my husband was hired to write a sitcom for me. And when I met him at Jerry's Deli in
A great
Studio
place.
City,
Mm-hmm.
my boyfriend at the time had dropped me off. And when I saw my husband, my very first thought was, what the fuck am I going to do? I know this is my husband. Like it was love at first sight. And it was for him too.
Aww.
And the waitress said, "Where do you want to sit?" Because it was in the afternoon and there were a lot of tables. And I said, "I just want to look at you."
Aww.
Like
That's so
I,
sweet.
and then the sitcom never went anywhere.
She
But
got a better deal.
yeah, I married him 4 years later,
Aw, that's so sweet.
and
What
we've been
now?
together
Did you let the
since.
boyfriend pick you up afterwards? Or you just tell him, thanks, but I got a ride.
No, no, yeah, complications.
Yeah.
But but yeah, we've been together 20, married 22 years. And for our 22nd anniversary, he gave me a book called The Power of Silence. This is a joke from my act. Um, that was a joke from my act. But he's a writer, my husband. He wrote on a sitcom called Boy Meets World.
Of course, great show.
And you might know that sitcom. And then he's also the son of a legendary composer who wrote a lot of the music for Disney. The Sherman brothers, his father and his uncle, and they wrote everything from the scores for Mary Poppins to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang
Aw,
to It's a
my uncle
Small,
worked
the
on
song It's a
some of
Small
these.
World.
Oh,
Really?
yes. I
Who's
have
your uncle?
Seamus Culhane was an animator for Disney, and he used to do a lot of the like in
Oh,
yeah,
right.
the Mary Poppins. He did the background animations. So just crazy small world. So
Wow. Wait, I
yeah,
have to write that down. Seamus.
it's
It
S
is a
H
small world.
A M
Seamus
U S.
Culhane.
Yes, Culhane. Yes, and he turned
Okay.
out. We found out he was my uncle. I wrote him a fan letter because I read one of his animation books, and he said, "Boudreaux, that name's very familiar. Why do I know that name?" Angie, do you know Angie Boudreaux? I said, yeah, it's my great grandma. She's my whatever it was, and I ended up writing. He sent me drawings of him of his artwork from when he worked for Fleischer Studios, and he would send me these just amazing just drawings. Every time he wrote me, I'd get a new drawing. So I have a stack of these drawings from this original Disney animator who's like worked in Fleischer and worked everywhere. It's just astonishingly cool. And I was studying animation because I wanted to do big special
That's
effects.
incredible.
Yeah, so I just was, and he instead of writing things about animation, don't date this guy, don't date that guy, don't just do your art, don't do stuff, just do your art. Had I only listened, who knows what I would have been animated today.
That's
It
incredible.
was pretty cool. There's a lot of women our age in the 50s, 60s. I think you're more in the 40s by your looks alone. That we're discovering that being around other women is starting to be much more positive experience than when we were younger. It seemed like when we were younger, it's all competition or, you're doing this. Oh, I wish I could do that or envy. Whereas we're getting older, it's like, oh, you do these amazing, cool things. Like you were saying about the book, you do this amazing, cool thing. And
Yeah.
I
Well,
see a group of
I
people.
started, go ahead.
No, I
Sorry.
was gonna say
I
I
always
see
do
like
that.
Leah and Kathy and you and like all these people kind of there's this really cool bond of a group core people I keep seeing over and over again in social media.
So when I first started in Boston, Paula Poundstone had just made it,
Mhm.
and I idolized her, just idolized her. And I remember thinking to myself, why am I even bothering doing this? I'm never going to be this funny. I'm just never going to be this funny. And then years later, I thought, you know what? There's room for every voice. Like it's not a competition.
Yeah.
We all have a voice. I'm not saying I wasn't jealous of other people. I was jealous of this one woman because we literally competed for spots at the
Oh,
Comedy Connection.
oh,
Her
that's my old
name
club.
is
Yep.
Cindy Freeman. Cindy
Uh-huh.
Freeman,
Uh-huh.
and now she's a burlesque dancer. So, but anyway, so years later, like 2.5 years ago, I was in LA and they asked me to perform on a show, and Paula was the host. Paula Poundstone was the host. And she sat in the front row and watched everything I said and laughed. And I just thought, this is so full circle. Like,
Aw.
I know, because I idolize her. She's the best at at talking to the audience that I've ever seen.
She
And
pulls
the
things out of
audience
people.
loves that.
Oh,
I
she's so
know.
good.
The
She,
audience loves that because they feel like, because it makes the audience feel like they're actually there. It's in the moment. It's
mhm.
not a script. She's the funny brain,
Yeah,
and they're delighted. It's like having inside jokes with the audience.
exactly.
So
And
I
she's
idolize
who I
her.
emulated a lot when I started out. And it's part of the reason why I MC the way I do, which is all improv to the audience, same way. It's just I watched how she would pick things from an audience and thought, that's so smart. That is so smart. She's still one of these people. Every
Yeah.
time I would do comedy day, or even as a volunteer, I'd be like, "Hi, Paula, how are you? Hi, I'm your friend. Hi, remember me? No, that's okay." She's and another voice that's completely unique to herself. When she talks about
She's
her asexuality, or when she talks about her cats, or when she talks about her family, or when they were taking him around to do gymnastics or whatever, or whatever they were doing. I think it was gymnastics. I think so. When I saw her in Vegas last time.
she's one of a kind.
Yeah, everything she said was so herself. So and
And then another one of my idols is Rita Rudner, who I got to work with last week. I didn't work with her. I produced
worked
a
the same.
benefit and had
That's
her
excellent.
headline.
And she was talking. I
And
tried to get her on the show, and she was talking about doing that show. So I was very excited about just hearing about this.
really,
Yes, I wanted to hear all about it.
it was phenomenal. It was a benefit for reproductive rights. It's a very touchy subject,
Yeah,
but it's a critical time that people are telling women. I wanted to call it "Get your gavel out of my vagina" because I don't like that. I don't like that anybody can tell anybody else what to do with their body.
yeah. Keep the law out of my pants is what I always say. Yeah, yeah.
Keep the what?
Keep the
The
law
lock?
out of my pants. Yeah.
The law out of my pants.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I was co-producing this benefit with my friend Kate, and we got Kathy Griffin to host it and Rita Rudner to headline. And then we had Kathy Ladman performing
Who I
and
adore.
Stephanie Blum. If you don't know her, you should.
I'm gonna look her up.
There are two Stephanie Blums. One's a lawyer, one's a comedian.
Okay,
So,
I'll make sure I get the right one.
okay. And we had Fritz Coleman, who was the weather guy in LA
Everybody
for
in
four
LA knows
years,
Fritz.
right?
Yep.
And so he was great. He spoke for the man's perspective because it's not just a female issue; it affects everybody.
Yes.
And yeah, and then we had Rita Rudner's daughter is a singer-songwriter in her 20s, and we had her open the show with a song.
Aww.
And yeah, it was just a phenomenal night.
Uh,
And we
I,
raised so much money.
and well deserved. I mean, you had the talent, and you have the talent to put it all together, which is fabulous too.
Well, it was weird being on the other side,
it's just
like
strange
not
when you do.
performing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've done that a lot. I've done a thing called comedotherapy, where we go in to visit cancer hospitals or cancer patients, and we do this whole comedian. I hire comedians to basically get people to laugh while they're strung up on the IVs and getting their chemo done.
That's
It
fabulous.
makes the time go by faster.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So,
Right.
but it is a whole different world being on the other side,
Knock wood that we are all healthy.
especially with this environment.
Yes.
Being a woman in this industry is hard enough. The sexism. I know when I
Well,
was
I've never thought of myself as a female comedian. Like I
thanks.
just thought of myself as a comedian,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
You don't get reminded until
nobody
somebody
ever
says
hit
things
on
like,
me.
yeah. No, that's not true. Really?
Nobody ever hit on me. So I never had that. I never had. Well, actually, one comedy club guy once hit on me, and but that was when I first started. Um, okay, maybe five comedy club. No, I but I
Okay, there
never
was the school
felt
bus.
that like it's a real thing now, like where people feel like they have to sleep with other people to get ahead.
In
And
some ways, to get,
I
yeah.
just never had that experience. In some way, I just never had that experience.
I did
So,
phone sex to
but
pay
I
for
can
school.
empathize. You did phone sex to pay for school?
That's it. And again, got hired because I made the guy laugh.
Awesome.
I would,
Awesome.
they would have competitions. It was all nursing students and art students. And we would have competitions between the nursing students, the art students to see who could get into people into car accidents. And I always won.
Wait, they were having sex while they were driving?
In traffic on the way home on the 405 or the 5 in LA or wherever and what's weird is when you recognize of what I won't say the comedian on the recording, but I'll tell you afterwards. There was one person in particular that I recognized the voice and I said his name and he was like, hi. so so it was pretty funny. Again, the accident, I win.
Uh-oh. You need to write a book.
Oh, girl. There's stories. There's so many stories. But the sexism that I had to deal with was weird because at the time I was a skinny blonde girl who just had a little bit of boobs and a lot of hair and big smile. Um, and I would have people like, who was one that would, Mark Linnell or people like that who come up to me. Mark used to be for those who don't know, he was a guy that worked with Bud at the Improv, and that was Santa Monica when I was working there. And he would say to me, "You're
I
really
remember
funny."
that club.
Oh, I love that club. That's where I met Charlie Callis. He said, "You're really funny, but I'm not going to put you on during the day, during our regular slots. You can go on later." I'm like, "Okay," because then I get more time. I don't care. But he would put me on when there'd be like one or two people in the audience. And so finally, like after the sixth or seventh time, I said, "Well, why do you keep putting me up this late?" "Oh, I don't know if you have enough material." Most of my material is working with an audience, so it helped. He says, "Well, maybe you should write some more material." So I told Mitzi this story. She says, "Honey, I can never get you to shut up." So I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't know.
I
That's,
never met Mitzi.
you never did? Oh, she was so sweet. And Sandy, her daughter, was a friend of mine too. Mitzi is one of those people. For those who are watching the show, Mitzi Shore was the woman who, with Sammy Shore, started the Comedy Store. And when they got divorced, he took the Comedy Store in Vegas, and she kept the Comedy Store in LA. And she ended up being the mama hen to the proverbial shitload of comics that would go through the Comedy Store on Sunset, which was down the street from the Laugh Factory, still is. And the old place was known as Ciro's, and there's allegedly ghosts there and stuff. But Mitzi was one of these people that she would watch all the open mic sets when when I was there in the 80s. I don't know what she did after that, but she would watch them and she'd either do this or this. And if you got this, you got to work in the belly room, which is the small room upstairs. And if you got this, she said, pass you through. You're not going to pass through yet. You got to sign up for another open mic. And everybody kept telling me, do the show, do the show, do the show. I'm not going to get through. I'm not going to get through. Pretty sure I'm not going to get through first. I've been in Boston for 5 years. Nobody knows me here. But she went like this. And I thought, okay, there's somebody behind me. I don't know who it is. No, it was
That's
me.
so exciting.
It was really fun. So I got to do the belly room for a while and, the original room for a while. I did the main room maybe twice, but, it was okay. I got my chops. So, but
I've only performed there for benefits.
oh,
It was never my home club.
yeah, for people, my
Yeah.
name's still
But
not
I
on the
love
wall.
doing benefits.
Yeah, benefits are great.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, my
I
name
love
was up
doing
there and then it got
benefits
taken down
because why?
because they did a rehash of the wall and they were like, "Oh, if make sure your name's up, make sure your name's up." And I got the email a month afterwards And I was like, because I had just gone through my divorce.
I'll write it in. I'll write
Yeah,
it in.
exactly. Well, they
I'll
said I
write
can
it
come
in.
down and we'll do it again. And I'm like, great. Yeah, that's fun. Everybody got to
Oh.
go. so, so eventually I'll be by the ladies' room again. My headshot used to be next to the ladies' room on the floor, right next to the bathroom. So I used to love that spot. So, so you did there for benefits?
I love doing benefits because, yeah, I was there for a lot of benefits because I meet people that I end up friends with.
Mm,
And it's like we're working on something that we feel passionate about together.
yeah,
And I honestly can say that some of my best friends out here in LA are from benefits.
it's hard
So
to make friends in
yeah,
LA.
charity work it feels good. In
Yeah,
LA,
yeah.
it's funny because I have befriended a lot of my husband's friends' wives. So like Lori Hutton. So when are you coming to LA again?
Hey, I haven't scheduled down there in
When are you
ages.
coming back to LA?
I'd like to get down to visit. I haven't done a show in LA in ages. It's been at least 7 years. I actually did a special for Netflix. Did a special with a friend of mine. My friend's special's been up already, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not going to go up. And then I got told, oh yeah, they screwed up the footage. You're going to have to do it again. I was like, well, what were they going to tell me? Oh, yeah, they would have. Okay, typical LA story.
When are you doing that?
Um,
When are you doing that?
I'm hoping that it's going to be the next because this show is going on Tubi, but I'm hoping that once this show's back on Tubi, people remember who I was back 100 years ago. And go, oh yeah, weren't you on MTV before? And didn't you kind of do that? Yeah, yeah. Then maybe I'll get back in the swing of LA. But in LA, it's like I don't have the look. A lot of it used to be that you have to have a look or you have to have known the right person, and a lot of the time I knew the right people, but I'd like have the stupidest things happen. I
That's why you need to write a book.
yes, yes. I am 100% the I Love Lucy home show. So, so
You're
it's a
so
horror
cute.
movie. I got asked to be in a horror movie, and I was auditioning for this other film. I got into this really huge TV show. I got into a pilot, got into this really big TV show, and they were like, "This is going to be great. This is going to be the best show ever." And it ended up being a huge show, and I walked away from it after the pilot was done because it's like I was going to be the white girl around these amazing black artists, and it was just going to be about why is the white girl in the show, and I didn't want that for the show. so I just walked away from it all. But I mean, that's basically been my whole career in LA. It's either I was doing special effects behind the scenes, doing stand up, all the time, or I was being cast into things that were like, yeah, let's put it in that. Oh, maybe not.
But you have to decide what's right for you.
Yeah. So I just kept writing and doing stand up, and I still do voices for people. That's my big thing now. So I do a lot of game voices and voiceovers for people. So that's kind of fun. So
That's
hopefully that job
fabulous.
won't disappear too.
No, it won't.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about the stand-up comic that's now completely AI?
No. Oh, don't tell me.
Oh yeah, it's out. They started that now. So there's a British comic that's not a comic at all. He doesn't exist. And he's basically, Susie Izzard, uh, except even more.
Yeah, but that's why live comedy is never going to go away
They
because,
need to have people at the shows, and
right?
I just, and especially now, this world is so messed up. How much hate can you have in the world? I mean, you gotta laugh.
Well, I always found like after tragedy, like after 9/11 and after October 7th, people really wanted to laugh.
Did you work 9/11?
I was not working during 9/11, but I was supposed to go to both New York and Boston, and I had to cancel that, obviously.
My
But
foster mom died, and I was there
uh, in New York,
in Boston, and I was supposed to fly on 9/11 back to LA, and I decided to take an earlier flight.
I mean, it was tragic.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic, after the pandemic, people were like ready to laugh. I have to say, the pandemic was good in that it got us all Zooming. Like, I would never have done this, not this, but I wouldn't have Zoomed
Yeah.
until, yeah, hey, wait a minute. I wouldn't have Zoomed unless I had a reason that I
Yeah.
had to. And so I'm grateful for that. So,
And the
um,
people you end up meeting, I think during the COVID experience, because you have that bonding thing, even whether it's the tragedy of 9/11, that big tragedy just puts you in, this is our personal shared experience. You get this, I get this. We can talk about this on a shared level, no matter what our politics or religion or all that other crazy stuff is. Oh, um, uh, we are going to wind down the show. You and I have been chatting so much. We're just kind of, chilling like
I
villains.
love talking to you.
You're sweet. I adore you. I've adored you. I adored you the way you've adored Paula. So there you go.
Well, let's do this again.
Yes, and we'll do it when your books are out, and we'll sell your books to everybody.
Okay.
Let me hold you just a sec, and everybody, this has been the Antisocial Hours show. This has been Miss Wendy Liebman, who is a goddess of the modest, and please do look her up if you haven't seen any of her videos. My God, you're in for a treat. You're in for a hell of a good time,
You.
and we will see you next time on the
You're
Antisocial Hour.
awesome. And you have to tell me who that voice was when you did sex